Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. After intense speculation as to who captured Young and Restless, Sharon and Phyllis and locked them up together, fans were blindsided by the reveal of the kidnapper's identity. Suffice it to say he wasn't on our radar whatsoever. So why then did Alan Laurent do it? Keep reading. We were nothing short of flabbergasted to see Tracy's new fiancé, Alan, pulled his cell phone out of his pocket and discover that he was the person watching Sharon and Phyllis on the video feed. This meant, of course, that he was the diabolical captor who had torn them from their families and locked them up. In that moment, our hearts shattered for Tracy, who was at that very moment crying tears of happiness at the athletic club as she shared her engagement news with Jack and Diane. The reveal was shocking, but in retrospect, we saw something like this coming. Find out why we've long believed that Alan is his presumed dead twin Martin here. It's pretty clear now that Alan is, in fact, Martin, unless the former underwent a psychotic break after the death of his brother. But that doesn't answer the big question. Why would Martin kidnap Sharon and Phyllis? Why would he care if they made amends or hated each other forever after? He doesn't even know Phyllis, and barely knows Sharon. The answer to that is stunning, and not a little chilling. We know, from Alan's past descriptions of his twin brother, that Martin enjoyed impersonating him, a respected psychiatrist, because he enjoyed the challenge of it, and got a thrill out of being able to pull it off. As we found out when Martin fooled Ashley into believing he was her good friend Alan, he was incredibly skilled at the deception. Looking at the situation with Ashley, and knowing what we do now, it's clear he not only manipulated the abbot into thinking he was Alan, but may have done something during her initial meeting with him in Paris to send her headlong into the DID spiral and bring out her alters. That then led to him convincing her to sign herself into a clinic overseas to get help to discover a childhood trauma, thus getting her out of the way whilst he pursued her sister. Ashley, meanwhile, had no luck discovering this terrible event in her past, which makes us wonder if it even exists, or was just another manipulation by Martin. In any case, it's clear that Martin loves to prove to himself that he is capable of manipulating people mentally and emotionally. It's a game for him, a challenge, like the one he's playing with Sharon and Phyllis. But why experiment on two women he doesn't even know? Well, our guess is that it stems from Sharon having been unlucky enough to have crossed his path and intrigued him. Young and Restless fans will recall that he first met Sharon when Tracy introduced them in the athletic club one day. Sharon was clearly disturbed on that occasion, believing she had killed Heather, and still under the influence of the PCP. That would have caught his attention. But Martin became even more entrenched in Sharon's psyche when Alan was invited to perform hypnosis on her, in a bid to help her remember, not only the night Phyllis was run off of the road, but also the events that took place on the night Heather died. He obviously became fascinated by Sharon and her mental issues, not to mention her complicated and volatile dynamic with longtime rival Phyllis. We can only assume that sense of intrigue is what triggered Martin's diabolical desire to play this unhinged game with Sharon and her nemesis, to find out if he could achieve the seemingly impossible and force the enemies to work through their issues and team up, not only survive, but to escape. The words experiment, challenge, and game have been used repeatedly throughout these scenes by The Voice, which sheds light on his motivation. But the idea that he has mentally and physically tortured these women and treated them like lab rats simply for the thrill of it and to satisfy his demented ego is downright chilling. Could there be more to it? It's possible, but that will have to be revealed in time. Alan, who had been known by his alias Martin, was never just a simple bystander in Genoa City. Though he initially appeared to be an unassuming presence, his past concealed a web of secrets that were bound to unravel in the most explosive way possible. Over time, it was revealed that Alan/Martin had deep-rooted ties to both Sharon and Phyllis, connections that neither of them fully grasped until it was too late. Alan/Martin's vendetta was fueled by an old betrayal. Years ago, his family was destroyed by decisions made by both Sharon and Phyllis, even if indirectly. Sharon, in her younger years, had unknowingly played a role in a legal scandal that led to Alan's father being falsely imprisoned. Meanwhile, Phyllis, in her usual ruthless manner, had a hand in covering up a corporate scandal that bankrupted Alan's mother's business. These two women had moved on with their lives, unaware of the pain they had left in their wake. But Alan never forgot. He spent years meticulously planning his revenge, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Alan/Martin finally put his plan into motion, it was executed with chilling precision. He lured Sharon and Phyllis separately, using their own weaknesses against them. Sharon, ever trusting and compassionate, fell into his trap when he posed as a man in distress, needing help. Phyllis, always suspicious, but never one to back down from a challenge, was drawn in by an email that suggested new evidence in a case she was investigating. Before either woman knew what was happening, they found themselves locked away in a remote location, their fates in Alan/Martin's hands. For Alan/Martin, this was never just about revenge. It was about making them understand the pain he had endured. He wanted them to experience helplessness, fear, and a loss of control, just as his family had suffered because of their past choices. He played mind games, pitting them against each other, forcing them to confront their deepest insecurities. The power dynamic was intoxicating for him, but beneath the surface, there was a flicker of conflict. Was he truly the villain, or just a broken man seeking justice in his own twisted way? Sharon and Phyllis, longtime rivals, had been at odds for years over men, power, and their reputations. Now, trapped together, they were forced to rely on each other in ways they never imagined. The situation tested their resilience, pushing them to the edge of their emotional and physical limits. At first, old resentments bubbled up. Sharon accused Phyllis of being manipulative, while Phyllis scorned Sharon for always playing the victim. However, as the days passed and Alan/Martin's torment continued, they started to see each other in a new light. Sharon's kindness became a source of comfort, while Phyllis's sharp intellect and determination became their hope for escape. Their dynamic shifted from adversarial to reluctant allies, proving that even the most bitter enemies could find common ground in the face of adversity. Back in Genoa City, their sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through their families and friends. Nick, Jack, and Chance led a desperate search, uncovering clues that eventually led them to Alan/Martin's hidden lair. Just as Alan/Martin was about to carry out the final phase of his plan, forcing Sharon and Phyllis to make an impossible choice, help arrived in dramatic fashion. The confrontation between Alan/Martin and the rescuers was tense, filled with accusations and emotional revelations. Alan/Martin finally laid bare his true motives, shaking everyone to their core. But in the end, justice prevailed, and he was taken into custody, leaving behind a legacy of pain and unanswered questions. For Sharon and Phyllis, the ordeal changed them forever. Though they would likely never be best friends, they shared an unspoken bond that could never be broken. The experience forced them to reevaluate their lives, their choices, and even their ongoing rivalry. Would they continue down the same paths, or had they gained a newfound respect for each other? As for Alan/Martin, his fate remained uncertain. Would he find redemption, or was he destined for a life behind bars, consumed by the very vengeance that led him to this point? One thing was certain: the echoes of his actions would linger in Genoa City for years to come, ensuring that his story would never be forgotten. The kidnapping of Sharon and Phyllis by Alan/Martin was more than just a shocking plot twist. It was a deeply emotional journey filled with themes of revenge, justice, and the complexity of human relationships. It tested the limits of its characters and left fans breathless, proving once again that The Young and the Restless continues to reign as one of the most thrilling soaps in television history. And as always, in Genoa City, the past never stays buried for long.